Right, got some drain pipe now to put on the lean-to thing that I've built, so I can get the water system sorted. Work out the best way to do this. And that's that, just put down. Right. Right, let's get this up here. Okay. Right, get this all tied in. This is doing well now, starting to come along okay. See what I can do with it, make sure that it's supported. It's not spiky, this. Be interesting to see how it works. Okay, that's that one done for now. Oh, sugar, forgot what I went round there for originally. Oh, cane. That's that. Quite a few brambles coming through and stuff, so cut them all back. I was watching a video again on YouTube. Yesterday it was a guy called Neil McCoy Ward. He's a financial analyst or advisor, and he was actually talking about meat, the farmers in the Netherlands, and he made a point about the Dutch government basically telling all of the Dutch meat farmers basically that they weren't allowed to actually rear meat animals anymore, and they put it down to this the climate change agenda, talking about methane and nitrogen levels and things like that. And I find it really strange that you have these people talking about saving the planet, and what they seem to actually want to do is show off any animal or any, I'm actually starting to think that it's not just animal, it's human inhabitants of the planet. Because look at it logically, we get most of our proteins from meat and animals, and a lot of people like myself actually eat meat. There are people who are vegetarians. We don't say to vegetarians, you're not allowed to eat vegetables, you know, you shouldn't eat vegetables at all and things like that. However, we seem to be getting to a point now where you have certain individuals, big corporations, big faceless bureaucrats who have never been elected, openly stating what they're doing to the population. I have to ask myself, who gave them this power? Did we give them the power to be able to do the things that they're doing? Basically cause death and suffering to billions of people across the planet. Did we? Yeah. Oh, an interesting question, I think. Who actually has given them this perceived authority over who lives and who dies? who eats and who doesn't, who works and who stays at home if they have a home. You know, for a long time, anybody who's actually spoken out against these things has been laughed at and ridiculed and called conspiracy theorists. But the last 3 years have shown us anything. There's more facts coming out than actual theories. All these theories are now being openly talked about by the people who said that the conspiracy theorists were nutters and dangerous. They also talk about misinformation, but then put out programs which only gives one side of a story and not the other, and if it doesn't meet what they say the narrative is, then the people who put an against argument forward are demonised, they're cancelled. You know, but the thing is, we seem to be allowing this to continue. And the question is, are we giving them the right to treat us no better than slaves, to treat us with complete and utter contempt? You know, as I say, you'll have a lot of people out there who say, "Oh no, we need to do all this stuff, and we need to do all that stuff to protect the planet because we're going to crash and burn." But since 1952, there have been 32 predictions of the global end, and every time those prediction dates come round, they then move the goalposts. I remember when I was a kid, it was the ice caps melting and we were all going to be under 100 foot of water. We had acid rain that was going to basically burn the skin off us and make our drinking water undrinkable and kill the oceans. And it seems to me that what's actually killing a lot of the oceans is the stuff that big corporations, not you and I, but big corporations, are dumping into the seas and into the waterways. So what Neil McCoy Ward was saying was, where is the sense in destroying economies, destroying lives in order to protect something where they now say that the science has been agreed, and that's the science of climate. But the only people who seem to agree are climate zealots, people who have a vested interest to make money out of the climate charade. Anybody else who actually speaks out is labelled as a pseudoscientist, even if they've been working in that field for 40-50 years. you know? What's your thoughts on it? Yeah, I suppose, you know, this conversation may be a little bit disjointed, but things don't make sense. Well, they do make sense if you take other things into account. For instance, they talk about saving the planet, but then cut down thousands of trees which absorb carbon dioxide and replace it with tram lines for electric trams to travel on. However, electric trams need to get their energy generated from other sources such as fossil fuels, natural gases and things like that, diesels, petrols for generators and things like that. You have the electric cars, you know, supposed to be the saviour of the planet. However, to be able to run these electric cars and to build them, they need all the lithium and the cobalt which is being mined in other countries. So all these people who are virtue signalling about having a electric car because they're saving the planet, the car's using up more resources, it's putting people into slavery, it's polluting the areas where it's actually being mined, all the stuff, your coppers, your cobalts and stuff. And then the batteries that they create only have a short lifespan. It costs more to replace the battery than it would do to basically buy 2 or 3 petrol cars, which have already been manufactured and use a lot less of the resources. And then you're using electricity again to charge them, which then put pressure on the power grid. So when they say that there could be blackouts, I'm not surprised there could be blackouts. You know, as I say, I'm just finding a lot of things don't make sense if you look at it on what the stated agendas are, the stated goals. But it makes perfect sense if you look at who is benefiting and who's actually losing out here, you know. They have, what is it? There is it 3,000 farmers, or is it 30,000? You may want to call me figures into question, but it's between, I think it's 3,000 farmers in the Netherlands, and basically they've told 3,000 farmers that they have to stop producing, and the Netherlands are the biggest supplier of agricultural products to the rest of the globe. So you're telling people who actually supply the food across the planet that they're no longer allowed to produce that food. What do you think that's going to do to people's stomach when the only thing they've got left to eat is either rats or grubs, bugs, or grass, you know? I can see a lot of things happening and not nice things coming down the tracks, but I think that's being done purposely. That's for another video, I suppose. But imagine just for a second that what Neil McCoy Ward and other people such as myself are actually saying, which is classed as a conspiracy, even though there's all the records to prove. It's quite easily available if you do your research yourself. You check into the World Economic Forums, you check the links between different corporations and things like that. You find that everything comes back to this global agenda of control of the global population and the destruction of billions and billions of lives in that pursuit. Now, if people are happy to sit back and allow that to happen, then that's fine. But I hear people complaining all the time about the price of this or the price of that, or that they can't get this and they can't get that. And when you say to them, have you thought that it may be this or it may be that, they look at you like you've got two heads. What can you do? You know, what can you say? If people aren't prepared to look deeper into what's going on and think, you just need to start thinking and seeing what's actually going on all around you. And when you take your head out the sand, because I think there's so many people with their head buried in the sand. I think people are frightened to think that our own governments, our own corporations, our own banking systems, our own food industries, most of this, which is what we've actually bought, we've spent into, we've paid for, is now being used against us. As I say, my thoughts. What are your thoughts? Leave a comment below. Honestly, it's so quiet. My comments are so quiet. I feel like I'm being shadow banned. Prove me wrong. Comment. Tell me what you think. Anyway, gotta get back to this weeding.